Well, the final of the men's 1 kilometre sprint is going to be a very grand affair. Frédéric Magnier faces Gary Nguyen from Australia in the first heat. Let's not forget that all the way through this event, Kurt Harnett has been the fastest man. The Canadian set a world record inside 10 seconds. Magnier is an extremely good tactical sprinter, maybe not the fastest man in the world, but he really does know how to lead out his sprints. 1 lap to go. Nguyen in second place there. Nguyen, to me, hasn't been superb in this track championships this year. He doesn't seem to have that fight that he had before, although going through the qualifying rounds he was quite tactical with Michael Hübner. We come in there to the final 100 metres. The clock's going. Magnier has let it out. He's coming up to the line. It's going to be very good. In fact, the Frenchman takes it on the line in 10.9 seconds. That's 1-0 for the Frenchman. Let's not forget it's best of 3. Nguyen just couldn't get by him on the line there. The Frenchman comes up and wins it by at least a wheel. So those two have to face each other again in the final for 3rd and 4th place. But these two men are fighting it out for gold. Leading off is Daryl Hill from Australia. On the back there, in the red and blue jersey of Canada, is the crowd's favourite, Kurt Harnett. Well, 1 lap to go and Hill is on the front, and Harnett has so far not been beaten in the championship. He recorded the fastest time in qualifying and has walked his way through until the final here. But you know, it looks to me as if he may well not get past Hill. Hill is really giving everything. Oh, that was a little bit dirty there, but the Canadian comes by. He's got an incredible turn of speed, and on the line he comes by to make it 1-0 for Canada at the moment. Let's not forget, though, that the 1 kilometre sprint is best of 3. Watch that again. What power this man has got. That's what's taken him to a world record. On the line, he just throws his bike ahead of the Australian. Second heat of the men's sprint final. For 3rd and 4th place, Frédéric Magnier from France, as you can see, leads 1-0 over Gary Nguyen of Australia. But this time, the Frenchman starts in second. This is going to be a very difficult sprint for Nguyen, because he realises now if he loses this one, he will drop down to 4th place and the Frenchman will climb onto the podium. It is so important now to find your positioning. Nguyen is an experienced man. Don't forget, he was world champion himself in 1993. Looks over his shoulder, trying to force the Frenchman to the front. The crowd have gone quiet. They realise now that this is an important moment in the sprint for Magnier. He's ridden superbly. He won the Keirin a little bit earlier, but he hasn't had the sprint over the last 200 metres here. Kurt Harnett has been the fastest man so far, the Canadian, who we'll see in the next heat. But Nguyen is experienced. He knows exactly how to ride his man. Looking over his shoulder all the time. Will we see the cat and mouse as he tries to force the Frenchman to the front to take the initiative? Magnier looks extremely concentrated. High up on the banking. A little bit dangerous because, as I said earlier, we've had several crashes on this track. It's very slippy, brand new. In fact, was only finished just days before the championship. Nguyen drops down the banking now, looking all the time over his shoulder, waiting for the Frenchman to start. He realises that he has to keep an eye on the Frenchman, because the Frenchman in second position has the chance of surprise. Magnier breathing deeply, trying to get the last little bit of oxygen, which is difficult up here. 1 lap to go. 330 metres. We'll know who's going to take... Oh, that was a naughty move there. In fact, Magnier almost got caught out. He pushes Nguyen up the banking, and he decides now he's going to lead the sprint out. He jumps down. It's not going to be very easy, because he's got to lead this sprint out. It's neck and neck. They're going round the final corner. Nguyen hasn't got it. I don't think Nguyen has got it as we come into the final straight here. And you know, Magnier has taken it on the line. Not extremely fast, 11.437. But Magnier will take 2-0 there, and he will take bronze medal. Absolutely superb tactically. For one moment there, I thought he was going to lose it as he comes into the final bend. A chance to look underneath his shoulder, and he knows he's got it. He comes up to the line. Nguyen tries, but he's left it just a little bit too late. Over the line, it's almost half a bicycle for the Frenchman, who wins 2-0 and will take the bronze medal. As he comes round to salute the crowd, the last 2 riders in this World Championships are on the start line. This is Daryl Hill against Kurt Harnett. As the crowd salutes Magnier with his bronze place. Harnett on the inside, number 37, makes the last few adjustments to his straps. He leads 1-0 at the moment. Let's not forget that the men's 1,000 metre sprint is decided out of 3 rides. Darren Hill has been so close to the title on many occasions. Look at the size of this man, he really is huge. The crowd have enjoyed Harnett, he's been fantastic, set a new world record in this discipline over 200 metres in the qualifying, but now he realises he's 1 sprint away from the world title. He was second in Japan in 1990, so close to the podium, yet so far. These sprinters really have to psych each other up. You can almost feel the tension. The crowd would love the Canadian to win, he's been superb. He leads off this time. The referee there, checking. Darren Hill looking across at Harnett as if to say, okay boy, you might lead 1-0, but I'm going to push you all the way to the line. So, 1 kilometre away from a world title for the Canadian. Number 54 from Australia has everything to do to stay in this competition. Hill in second place at the moment. Harnett, I don't think, would like to lead out this sprint. He would much prefer to be in second place, but Hill won't give up that advantage. They keep tight up against the banking, waiting for one or the other to make a mistake. Harnett looking all the time, waiting for some kind of sign from Hill, who will do nothing but keep his eyes fixed on the back wheel of the Canadian. Both riders have decided to wear glasses in this final. The sun has dropped down a little bit, and it may well be that they want to cut out any rays. Harnett's ride in the qualifying ride was absolutely superb. He's gone through this championships 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 all the way through. At the moment, in the final for gold position, he leads 1-0 against Darren Hill of Australia. When they come round this time, we'll hear the bell. That's 300 metres to go. Oh, Hill is starting to get twitchy. He's trying to put the pressure on. This is when sprinting is important. You have to remain calm. You don't have to lose your nerve. Don't be flustered by your opponent. Hill comes in very close now. When they come round this time, it'll be the bell. Oh, and Hill is switching all over the track. This man knows how to ride. The Aussies know how to ride rough. They ride all the time through the winter. They ride in Tasmania, and that's a move. That's a move I haven't seen very often. He comes underneath. He pushes Harnett right up the bank and decides to lead out. 200 metres to go. And you know, I think he's caught the Canadian by surprise. He's got 2 or 3 metres lead. The Canadian has been the fastest man so far in this competition, but this time I don't think he's got it. He's given up. He has given up, and that is going to even it up 1-1. Darren Hill went over 10.5. Superb tactical move. He took Harnett right the way up the banking. That is going to mean we'll have to go to a decider. Well, I can feel the tension in the crowd now. We thought the World Championships was going to be over with a 2-0 ride, and look at this. Hill absolutely has no worries at all about taking Harnett right up the banking, and as he comes into the final corner, he's already got 2 metres lead. The Canadian just hasn't got it in him this time. He was surprised by that move by the Australian, and as they come to the line, he gives up, and it'll go 1-1. We need to go to the final now. There it is, almost a full bicycle length in it for Darren Hill. 1-1 as Harnett looks across. Well, this is the last sprint of the championships. 1 sprint each for these 2 men. Darren Hill has been so close in the past, he realises now he's got a great chance. These riders taking every last little breath. It's such an explosive, such a nervous effort, the sprint. Harnett, deep breaths. Knows he's got to do it. He's been so close. He's gone through this championship with great ease. The fastest time in the qualifying. He's beaten everybody in the semis, the quarters, all the way through. But he's up against a tough, rough riding Aussie here. Darren Hill from Australia leads off. Now the tension mounts. Can the crowd's favourite win, or can the man with the best tactical sense outwit the Canadian? 1 kilometre to go, just a few minutes from the closing of this year's World Championships in Bogota, Colombia, before we all move off to Boyacá for the road racing. It is so tense, the crowd can feel it now. They want Harnett to win. He's been fantastic all the way through this event. Hill totally concentrated, looking over his shoulder all the time. He doesn't want to make a mistake at this stage in the game. They're both keeping very low down at the moment. When they come round, this time there'll still be 2 laps to decide who will be champion of the world. Harnett already has a world record under his belt, and they're slowing each other down. Harnett would love to stay in second position. Hill is on the front, crosses the line, 2 laps to go. All the time waiting for a sign, for a sound, something that will tell him that the Canadian is going to start his sprint. It is so difficult being the man at the front because you have to look round all the time. You have the disadvantage of not being in control. So Hill winds it up. This time will be the bell. He looks over his shoulder. He starts to wind it up slowly. This is dangerous. He's going to lead out for a whole lap. He's going to lead out for a lap with the Canadian in his wheel. They're in the final lap now. He's always looking over his shoulder. He takes him right up the bank. Oh, that was a naughty move. Harnett can come down. He's coming down again. He gets onto the back wheel of the Australian, but that took him right up the banking, took him by surprise as we come up to the final line. You know, Harnett has been so superb all the way through, but it looks to me as if Australia has taken it with great ease. 2-1. Darren Hill will be champion of the world. He's done it. He's done exactly what he wanted to do, and what a man. He is elated. Hands in the air. You've got to take your hat off to Kurt Harnett. He's been fantastic, but this man came through with the goods when he needed to. And Harnett, I think, will be philosophical in defeat as Hill throws his helmet into the crowd there. Harnett said, it doesn't matter having the fastest sprint, it's like having the fastest serve in tennis. It doesn't mean you're going to win Wimbledon. Let's take one last look at that. This was so close, and in fact I thought for one moment there that Harnett was going to go down. He was surprised and scared, I think, by that move. It was slightly dangerous, but that's what sprinting's all about. These are the men who take risks. They push themselves to the limit. As he comes into the final corner, I think Darren Hill already knows that he's going to be world champion. Takes himself down to the bottom line. He forces every last little bit out of his body, and he's going to take the last championship title of this year's World Championships on the track. Champion of the 1,000 metre men's sprint. As he comes over the line, we can see that he is elated. It's an easy win over Kurt Harnett. He'll be happy with second place, I think, because he's been superb in this championships. Second place may well turn around and become a first place next year, because this man, number 54, Darren Hill from Australia, was second last year to Martin Nostein in the same event. Well, Kurt Harnett of Canada may well not take the gold home this year, but he'll take one of 4 world records broken here in Bogota. He's the fastest man in the world over 200 metres, and I feel that the records broken here will stand for a very long time. As these 2 riders bring the games to a close, the rest of us have to move off to Boyacá for the road racing.